The open ocean. It's a place of just incredible beauty, but also this deep, profound mystery. For centuries, it's been the source of stories about ships that just vanish, only to reappear as legends. So today, we're diving into this world of lost ships, where you'll find out that the truth is often way stranger than any story you could make up.
I mean, it's the ultimate ghost story of the sea, isn't it? Just picture it, a massive vessel sailing the high seas, totally empty. That single image has haunted sailors for generations. But here's the thing, it's not just a spooky tale. It's a reality we're about to explore. Okay, so let's start by looking at two of the most famous ghost ships in history. On one side, you've got the legendary Flying Dutchman, pure supernatural myth. And on the other, the SS Bechimo, a very real ship with a story that is, honestly, almost too wild to be true. Right, the Flying Dutchman. This is a classic. The legend goes back to the 17th century. It's all about a captain who, supposedly, in a moment of fury during a massive storm, makes a deal with some pretty dark forces. And his punishment, to sail the oceans for all eternity. His ghostly ship became this awful omen for any sailor unlucky enough to see it. But what if a lot of these spooky sightings actually have a scientific explanation? Enter the Fata Morgana. It's this incredibly complex optical illusion. Basically, on hot, still days at sea, light bends through different layers of air temperatures. This can make ships on the horizon look like they're floating or just vanish and reappear out of thin air. It's pretty much the perfect recipe for ghost story, right? So with science in mind, let's leave the legends behind and get to the stunning reality of the SS Bechimo. Because its true story is more unbelievable than any piece of fiction. Okay, just look at this journey. It's 1931, and this cargo ship gets completely stuck in Arctic ice. The crew has to abandon it, figuring it's going to sink for sure. But it doesn't. For the next 38 years, the Bechimo just drifts all by itself through the Arctic. People would spot it, sometimes they'd even try to board it, but it always managed to slip away. 38 years, it became the longest sailing ghost ship in history. And believe it or not, to this day, no one knows exactly where it ended up. Of course, not every ghost ship has a story that's quite so epic. Today, thousands of boats are abandoned on purpose, not because of ice, but because of their owners. See, it's super expensive to maintain and dock a boat, and since most modern boats are made of fiberglass, they're not easy to recycle for scrap. So they end up becoming this huge modern problem, polluting the water and creating real dangers for other ships. All right, so let's shift gears. We're moving from ships that haunt the surface to the ones that were lost to the deep. These vessels become these incredible time capsules, perfectly preserving history on the ocean floor. Okay, picture this. It's the year 1900. Sponge divers are exploring an ancient wreck off a Greek island called Antikythera, and they find something that just makes no sense at all. Among all the old statues and coins is this corroded lump of bronze, just filled with these impossibly intricate gears. For decades, nobody had a clue what it was. And the answer, when they finally figured it out, was just staggering. This device, pulled from a 2,000-year-old shipwreck, turned out to be the world's very first known analog computer. It completely rewrote everything we thought we knew about ancient technology. And listen, this wasn't just some simple clock. The Antikythera mechanism was an incredibly sophisticated astronomical calculator. It could predict eclipses, track the planets, all with mind-blowing accuracy. This one discovery proved that ancient engineers were capable of a level of mechanical genius we didn't think was possible for another 1,000 years. A true treasure from the deep. Now, let's jump way forward in time, from ancient Greece all the way to the freezing waters of Antarctica. Because here, another legendary ship was found, perfectly preserved, not by luck, but by its extreme environment. Sir Ernest Shackleton's famous ship, the Endurance. The conditions for its preservation were just perfect. The Endurance sank back in 1915, and it was lost for over a century. When it was finally found, 10,000 feet down, it was almost pristine. You could still read the name on the back. And the reason? The water in the Weddell Sea is so cold and so deep that the little organisms that usually eat wood just can't survive there. The ship was basically sitting in a natural deep freeze, just waiting to be found. So, we've seen ships drifting on the surface and ships at the bottom of the ocean. But what about the absolute strangest discoveries of all? I'm talking about ships that weren't found in water at all, but buried deep within the earth. I know, it sounds like the beginning of a really bad joke, doesn't it? But it's a real question that led to one of the most incredible archaeological finds in American history. And the answer involves a really powerful river, the slow passage of time, and some serious detective work.
So here's how they pulled it off. The steamboat, the Arabia, sank in the Missouri River way back in 1856. But over the next 100 years or so, the river literally changed its course, leaving the wreck buried deep underground. So in the 1980s, an explorer named David Hawley and his team used old maps and high-tech sensors to find it. And there it was, 45 feet beneath a cornfield.
And what they found inside was just breathtaking. The thick mud had sealed off all the oxygen, which preserved everything perfectly. We're not talking gold or jewels, but something way more valuable, a complete, untouched snapshot of everyday life in 1856. Today, all those items fill an entire museum, a treasure chest buried not by pirates, but by a river.
From ghost ships to buried treasures, these stories are just incredible. But here's the thing. They are just a tiny fraction of what's still out there. The ocean is still holding on to most of its secrets, and the scale of what remains to be discovered is truly mind-boggling.
Just think about this for a second. Experts estimate that there are still 1 million historical shipwrecks lying on seabeds all around the world, completely undiscovered. 1 million.
And the potential value of what's on them? Well, it could be as high as $60 billion. That's in treasure, in artifacts, and in priceless historical knowledge, all just sitting there, waiting to be found.
For every Endurance or Arabia that we find, there are thousands, maybe tens of thousands more that are still lost. Every single one is a time capsule, a mystery, a story that's waiting to be told. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secrets are still out there, just waiting to be found?